Hello Ivy users, Alex here, your Vira guide, and today I want to show you this cool plugin called Ivy Generator to grow vegetation. As you see here, I'm working on my scene, on my new scene, Linear Set, and this is the real photo on the left, and on the right is just my work in progress. And I have made those really cool ivy that you can see here hanging from the floor by using this Ivy generator. And let me just for a second go and show you where I got it. It's completely for free, it's a free plugin. If you just type in Google, you're probably gonna find those two websites. The first website called Ivy Generator by Thomas Luft, and you can find different examples of this cool plugin, different stuff that people doing here by using this free version of Ivy Generator. So basically you can go grow ivy on your houses, on your interiors, exteriors, and it will generate automatically really nice looking leaves and branches here, and other cool effects. You know, people go crazy by making different shapes with you see here different like lighting and wiring shapes. All right, so this is the website. You can download the standalone version, and you can also download textures. If you go here, you can download the Windows version or Mac version, and you can also download different textures for branches and leaves. Okay, if you want to use this plugin in 3ds Max, you need to go to guruware.at, and if you find on the front page, you'll be able to see the this description of the plugin. If you click on that image, you can go inside and read all the parameters that these guys made to optimize the ivy grower. If you scroll down, all the way down, you'll be able to find the downloader. So go ahead and click on this one. You'll be able to download the ivy grower plugin with all the textures from Guruware, and if you extract it, you'll be able to find all the other versions for earlier 3ds Max to install. So the latest one is 2013, even though I'm working with 2014. I have installed this on my 64-bit machine in order to test it. So basically I grew it in Max 2014, converted it into Mesh, optimized it, and brought it into Max 14 and kept working later on. Alright, so this is a little bit awkward process just because I don't have this plugin for Max 14, but it works fine. So I'm gonna open my plugin folder in 3ds Max, Autodesk, plugins, and you need to go and place it. Just copy, paste, or just drag and drop into your plugin folder of 3ds Max 2014, and go ahead and launch your Max. After launching your 3ds Max, you'll be able to find Guruware slot, and here is the Ivy Generator plugin with all the parameters here. So let's go and analyze those guys. You need to turn out the grid, and as you see here, I can place it anywhere in my scene. So just make sure your Z axis is pointing up, and you go and place it. If you click grow ivy, you can start growing it. You see here it starts to grow, but it kind of goes in everywhere, in any direction, and it goes a little bit too much on the floor and on my windows here. Alright, so I don't want it, I'm gonna stop it. I don't want it to go on my windows and on my glass. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glass, take my windows here, and I'm gonna freeze them. That way Ivy will know not to mess with my windows, with my glass. And after I froze them, I can go, whoops, can go select the ivy, delete it. Every time you generate, you gotta generate a new ivy. So it cannot update the old one because it grew already according to those parameters right here. So what I can do is up vector parameter. So the first parameter is the size. I'm not gonna change it. 2 centimeters pretty good for the grow. If I want it to be a little bit bigger, like in my example here, it's kind of small according to the reference. I might change the camera lens to bring it a little bit closer, but if I want to grow a little bit bigger, I can increase this grow size parameter. I'm gonna leave it for now, and I'm gonna just change the up vector. Let's just change it to 1 in order to exaggerate a little bit and to show you what this parameter does. So this one actually pushes all the branches to go really up. So 1 is a little bit too much because they will start going over and out of my building here, and they're just gonna grow and keep growing and crawling. As you see here, they also they don't really stop and they don't really rub. So this up vector parameter is pretty strong. Got really strong appearance. Alright, so I'm going to delete my ivy and I'm gonna put back to 0.3 because 0.2 was kind of spreading them too much. So 0.3. I made 2 cameras, one close and one far, so it would be easier to navigate through my scene. Alright, you gotta position this as close as possible to the wall. That way it will know to climb the wall and not to start growing on your floor. Alright, so let's press again, and as you see here, just by increasing a little bit the up vector parameter, we can see that it's kind of goes up and it doesn't really spreads on my windows. Earlier it was going really deep. It kind of tries to keep up with whatever I put in it. So this is nice, but we can perfect it a little bit better. Let's check out the next parameter is primary weight. So as a default is 0.5, halfway. Let's put 1 and see how this guy works. So basically by clicking grow and pause, you can kind of click this button and start growing or pausing your growth. As you see here, it kind of spreads too much just because the primary weight, it's got two simple shapes. I'm gonna pause it here and delete. I'm gonna place another one and I'm gonna lower this to 0 and start growing. Let's see. Now as you see here, this one got really much more variation, much more shapes. So primary weight will probably the best way to do either straight branches or kind of curvy branches like that. Somewhere in the middle, 0.5 was pretty good. I don't want to grow it too curvy, too dense. This is not really natural to ivy. So 0.5 here is a good parameter. Oops. Alright, the next is random weight. This is also pretty much the same manner. Let's grow another ivy and see those examples. Grow. So as you see here also, it kind of grows on the floor, and it's always getting those curvy results and very dense, and it doesn't really grow up. So random weight is something that is somewhat 0.3 in order not to pull it too much down. You saw how it was growing on the floor, so I'm gonna put 0.3. 0.2 is a little bit light. I still want them to bend a little bit and to have more gravity variation. So something like that could be good. It's still curvy. It's got really nice small bendings. It doesn't really go inside my window, and it keeps growing up which is pretty good. I'm gonna pause it, and let's see another parameter, gravity. Let's put 0 in gravity and see what happens. So gravity pretty much is what pulls the branches down. If you don't have any gravity, they will just go up, try to reach the sky without anything stopping them, or trying to tell those branches to start bend down. As you see here, they kind of keep going and going, even though there is no wall here. They kind of trying to reach the top because the gravity does not exist. Alright, so I'm gonna stop this and bring gravity back to 1, which was good. I can go above 1. Let's just go put 10 and try to grow another one here and see how this guy works. Let's just try to grow them simultaneously. As you see here, gravity 10 really pushes it down, so it's a little bit too much. Doesn't let it spread. So 2 heavy branches will just push them down to the place, to the same spot where they're growing from. So gravity 1 going to be pretty much decent amount of gravity to the branches. Alright, so I'm going to delete this guy here, and I'm gonna grow another one. Adhesive. This guy is something that controls the threshold, how those ivy grows follow and what structure they follow. So 0.1 is a default. Let's put 1 in here. I don't think we can go above 1. Yeah, and start growing. And as you see here, ivy growth starts really following the lines of my structure, and it doesn't really follows, doesn't have any random growth on my wall. It's just kind of trying to get as much as close to those lines of my building, of my wall. And we're gonna pause this guy. So basically, if you have something that goes along the line, you can grow it in 2 parts. Part 1, you can grow it along the line, and then you can change the adhesion to 0.1 and start growing it to the sides. And that way you can fill the whole space much better. For example, if I would do this guy here, I would grow it along the line, and I would change it in order to start growing down and up. Alright, so basically you can always find a method for growing your ivy, and then change the parameters and start growing in the other direction, then change them again and start growing. I don't know, if you want to have bigger leaves, you want to start from small leaves, you can increase the leaf size, chaos, and density of the leaves right here. So basically you get more variation in growth of your ivy. Alright, so let me just delete this guy and see other parameters. So I'm gonna leave the adhesion at 1, and then we have the distance. So let's put 100. It's basically the distance between this threshold, how sticky it is to the corners of my wall. And if we put 100 centimeters in distance, those branches, they try to kind of escape from each other. Alright, so it's pretty dense, but it's got nice and natural look to it. So 100 centimeters. Let's leave it at 10 as a default. Yeah. Alright, branching. Branching is the next parameter. By default it's 0.3. Let's put 1 and see what happens. So you can see the density of branching. They start really get dense and overlapping each other and kind of trying to come together with 1 parameter. Really thick grow. If we put 0.3 and have another example here on the side, you can see that 0.3 it actually pushes the branches to grow a little bit higher, a little bit better, not that dense. And if we pause it right here, you can see that those branches have more density here and more leaves according to the branching size, which is 0.3 right here. So less is good. Be very careful with this one because you can overload your system really fast. Ivy Grow creates a lot of geometry and can be really heavy on your system. Maximum length 30 centimeters is a branch length. Let's put 300 and see how this guy goes. So basically they can be a little bit longer. You can see really long branches. If I would put 30 here and grow another one just here on the side, you can see that the branches and the leaves, they kind of they start earlier. This one pushes the branches to be more to be higher and to be less dense. And this one, we can see that the leaves growth starts a little bit earlier in compared to this one, which is pretty empty. Okay, so the longer it is, the longer branches you're gonna get, and the leaves will start growing later on. Length variation is how much variation you have in that length. So let's put 100 and see the variations. Whoops. Okay, that's about it. It doesn't grow more than that. Let's get back to 20, which was our default, and try to grow this one. So it grows actually nicely, but it spreads to the sides. And let's put 1 or 2, just for the sake of this idea, and see what's the difference. Alright, we can see that this one actually spreads a little bit more to the floor and it's got more variation in length. So different length, got more variety. This is more solid, more accurate and kind of proportional. This is more chaotic. Alright, and if we this guy little here, we put 100, so it actually stopped at 100 when it reached it speed and age. So age is 0 here. Okay, the next parameters is we have length variation, which was 20 is the best one. Parents, maximum parents is how many branching parents do you have. Let's just test 4 as a default and compare it to something that is over 4. Stop it here and put maybe 10 and see how this guy works. So basically, more parents, maximum parents. This got less parents, less density. This got more parents, more branching, opening up. So maximum parents will give you a little bit better result if you want to grow really thick and big ivies. With little parents amount, you can grow much smaller and more accurate ivies. So let's leave it at 4 and go and see other parameters. Seeds. The seeds is the variation. You can change it. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, but you can have different variations in growing. Threads is basically your processors, how many processors. I'm using quad cores or 8 processors. You can use age in order to block those ivies from growing. You can determine how long is your branches and their growing time would be, so you can actually block from letting them grow or overgrow. Branches is how thick are your branches, how many sides your branches have. The aspect and the distance is all small tweaks to your branches that you can do. Let's see this one. We have leaves. This is also a seed. Seed means the variation of those leaves. You can add a little bit more caustic and density to the leaves, and of course increase the leaf size. So let's just examine this one. We're gonna grow the one that was set up earlier, which is nice here. And if we put 20 for the leaf size, you can see that the leaf size actually increases. If we put 0.5 to the density, and we can increase the cows of the leaves so they will be more rotated and flipped, and they will have more variation. So the more cows you have, actually the leaves have less gravity to them, so they can bend and twist to different sides. And seed variation will always give that, as you see here, the variation for leaves distribution. So let's put this size 1, 10. I think 10 is the, let's put size 1. Very little leaves, almost no leaves. So if you're trying to grow something young like this, you can do it, and then you can keep growing it a little bit more. And if you change the leaf size actually changes to all the ivy. So all the parameters here in cows and density of the leaves should be controlled from that part right here. Alright, the next ones is the view, what you want to view. You want to view the main branch, old branch, young branch, and you can also make it smooth to view it smooth. But if you don't have strong graphic cards, I don't recommend you to use this parameter here. The next one is the textures. You can use vertex color, and you can color your branches in your leaves. You can use meshes by loading this guy here. Actually allows you to modify and add different structures to your leaves, to your branches. So basically you can model your own leaves, and you can load your leaves here in the leaf mesh, and you can change their variation, tessellation, and angle, scale. You can really have good control over your leaves and modify them and customize them and create your own stuff. Presets, you can always load and unload your presets, and if you go here, this option here also exists to extract different splines, and of course the about information for this wonderful free plugin. Alright, so generally speaking, if I would work in 3ds Max, I would make this branch, then I would probably convert it into editable mesh, and I would optimize it with multi-res modifier right here. I need to click those guys here, click generate. It will generate the overall amount of the geometry that in this branch, and then I actually can reduce it. So reducing it about 30 or 40% will not really, let's just go a little bit in close look here. This is 40%. I'm actually reducing 40% of that whole branch. So 30% maybe a little bit too much, but somewhere around 40% will give you good amount for the branches, and it will still look good. Okay, another thing is those branches are standard V-Ray materials, so you probably want to do convert Steen converter and convert all of those into V-Rays. You see here now it's V-Ray materials, so you gotta go and adjust and set up your shaders. But generally speaking, if you want to make another optimization for that thing after converting everything into V-Ray materials, you can right click, you can do export to mesh, and you can make a mesh, V-Ray mesh from this guy. So let's just do it for a second. And as you see here, V-Ray mesh was created. So you're going to save a lot of rendering time by doing that. All right. The only problem is that you cannot modify it after converting it into V-Ray mesh. So make sure to save always two versions of your Ivy, before the V-Ray mesh and after V-Ray mesh. Okay, so this is it. This is the Ivy Grow plugin. You can go ahead and log in and check out those different examples, download the plugin, install it, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Post your comments below, share it with your friends. This was Alex, your V-Ray guy. Talk soon. Ciao.